Good morning, I'm Catherine Ross with TheStreet here at the NYSE with Jim Cramer. Jim, how are you?
I like the open down, so I'm fine. You know I've been saying that when it opens up, it's a sucker's play, and that's what happened yesterday, and we had a really bad open today. Amazon down 3%, all of FANG down big, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. It was very funny. There was someone on Twitter who said, Jim, you're in panic mode. And I thought it was very funny because what I've been describing for weeks now is a market that we don't like. And he said, you put a lot of money to work for your trust. No, we actually took money out. Today we're actually putting money in. We want to be net in. But what you want to do is recognize that this is a roving bear market. You got through housing. They crushed that. Got through autos. They crushed that. Autos are now, Ford's looking better. Defense, they crushed that. Semiconductors, they annihilated that. We're seeing, we saw a tremendous downdraft in a lot of the drug stocks. That continues. So the industrials annihilated. So you have to say to yourself, okay, you have a Verizon market. And Verizon acts well. You have some retailers that act well. They probably shouldn't because they're going to hurt by tariffs, including Walmart. RTH, someone's buying. But we really have is the ETFs of mass destruction. And when I say that those sectors are down, there's always like an ETF that you can slam. I mean, yesterday we had off of first data, we had this, I don't know, they've got some ridiculous ETF for fintech, Finks or something, and that got slammed. And what I've been doing is trying to be a calming influence, but I have analogs of when we were down like this, and they're not that encouraging unless someone blinks. And I laid out a course for Jay Powell this morning where he can say, listen, I just want to go back. Janet Yellen yesterday, just praise Janet Yellen. So, she was a great Fed chief. And, I've been studying her work. And I want to, after this next rate, I want to go more toward her data dependence because I'm not oblivious to the destruction in the industrials, in the semiconductors, in the plastics, in the papers, in the houses, in the autos. Those are all substantial parts of America. I know we're a service economy, and I know that maybe we have to wait for retail to roll over, but this morning Sam's Club announced an initiative where they're going to basically get rid of checkers. And that's going to cause unemployment. And I've been trying to balance between what's good and what's bad. We obviously, unfortunately, have to root for what's bad because that gives him an out to adopt the Janet Yellen view. So that's a long-winded way of saying that I like a market that opens down, but I am not going to embrace a market without something from Powell. I like the fact that the VIX, our resident expert, Mark Sebastian, our resident VIX expert, noticed the VIX has stopped going down. That's important. I mean, VIX stopped going up. So these are all a worldview which just says we're very oversold. There's opportunity. Don't get carried away unless Powell flips. And that's what my whole real money section yesterday was about. Powell flipping.
Now, your real money column today focused a lot on negativity.
Right,
and
the power of negative thinking.
Exactly. So, and I really liked it. It was great.
Remember, a lot of it was facetious. I said that I wanted to come out when Amazon was down today and buy it, but I reckon, well, that's exactly what happened. So but it was a facetious piece about how I liked Northrop Grumman because they had an unbelievable quarter, and I liked Amazon. But the power of negative thinking has made it so that suddenly people are crafting scenarios like, I like the IBM deal because they need to do something. But, IBM had not been winning the cloud, and Red Hat had a couple of bad quarters, and I like both those companies, and I like Jim Whiter. She's fabulous. So they combine, and suddenly, because of the power of negative thinking, we hate Amazon Web Services. We see Walmart going up and Kroger going up, so therefore we think that Amazon Prime's not doing that well. If you go over Amazon's quarter, it wasn't that bad. I could have done, if I had gone on longer, I could have done a piece about Alphabet. I mean, I have read the Alphabet quarter, the conference call, over and over and over again. It was a really good quarter. But the power of negative thinking has sent that stock down very big.
I want to think a little bit about the power of positive thinking.
Really?
Yeah, because
for
me...
Look at you optimist.
Well, for me, there's a lot of positive things in the video game space right now.
Well, Take-Two, biggest weekend in history. Congratulations to Strauss Zelnick. And the stock was down. This is good. Boy, power of negative thinking. I'm glad you brought this up. Yesterday, Take-Two was down really big on rumors that Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't doing well. And then it turns out to be untrue, but the power of negative thinking overwhelmed Take-Two. And Strauss Zelnick has been saying over and over again that was going to be the biggest, and he delivered the biggest. I don't know if you played it. My gaming.
Oh, I have.
How lifelike is it?
It's so lifelike.
Tell me, what is the difference between the old and the new?
So it's really interesting. You have to feed yourself. You have to shave yourself every couple of days. You have to shave your beard and you have to cut your hair.
Western, they let it go. No?
Well, I mean, I guess
now,
you can.
You do that in order to do what?
Just you can customize your character, and you can also choose, when you do quests and stuff, you can choose how you're going to respond. You can be the bad guy. You can be the good guy. It's this cowboy westerner. But it can also be,
right?
Yes.
John Ford, my friends who are gaming say that Rockstar Games, unbelievable.
Which Take-Two owns, for those who don't know.
Right, and they are a great studio. So congratulations to Strauss, and the Power of Negative Thinking gave you an opportunity to buy that. There's a lot of Power of Negative Thinking in oil, and people are selling oil in the same way they bought oil, but we haven't had the collapse. I mean, for instance, Action Alerts owns BP, and BP was one of the best quarters in oil that I've ever seen, best in 5 years, and no one really cares. But one day they will. But the Power of Negative Thinking has taken over that name.
I have a question from a Twitter user.
Oh, good.
Brett.
So negative. I love it. I love people say, Jim, you've been just tossing things out, and then I've got other people saying, hey, you bought, and I got other people saying, you criminal, Amazon. I mean, I've liked Amazon at 75. I liked it at 750. I liked it at $17.50. Now, you can say, well, wait a second, you clown and bozo. You liked it at $17.50. You gaffed me. But what am I going to do? I mean, am I just going to, respond to people who are critical? I mean, I wish, if my mom were alive, she would say, Jimmy, why are you even reading it? But, I read it because there's people like Scott Wapner said some nice things today. And Tom Farley used to run the exchange. And I look, I've been negative because of the tariffs and because of the higher rates, but on individual sessions, there are opportunities.
And it's always important to get everyone's feedback so you kind of know how to grow.
I agree with that. I mean, look, I had rhino skin. If you read Confessions of a Street Addict, I've kind of been through the mill. My friend, buddy, pal John Stewart skewered me, which I've always felt was unfortunate given the fact that I was one of the few people who called out the Fed. But, life's unfair. Thank you, Jimmy Carter. Spent a lot of time on the cross. I always look back at what John did and think, well, you know what? Why did you apologize on Howard Stern to me? But whatever. I mean, I think that in 98, people felt that I was an idiot. And, if you've been called an idiot and a knave and a fool and mountebank over and over and over again, but you still put your pants on and go to work, you're okay.
So, Brett, Brett is wondering whether or not you like Spotify more than Salesforce.
Well, that's a great question. The answer is no, because I think Salesforce is an Action Alert name and Mark Benioff's doing great. Look, I think Spotify's doing great, but look, the market switched. You're going to look back and think Spotify was a good buy, but no one wants to do that now because of the power of negative thinking.
It's always the power of negative thinking.
Well, I warn people that they're selling because they are afraid that others are going to sell. And what you should be doing is looking at the companies that you're selling and deciding if you like them. Not just deciding that your fellow shareholders are going to capitulate. And it's very hard for people to realize that that's what this is about. And I've seen it before. I'm not sanguine about what's happening in the market. I am sanguine about my ability to be able to say how I feel. When people who have just got in the business criticize you, I want to say to themselves, listen, Sonny, but I'm not going to do that. But I've been trading stocks since 1979, and I've seen a lot of bear markets, a lot of roving bear markets, and I've seen a lot of politicians make bad moves, Fed chiefs make bad moves, and Jim Cramer make bad moves. It's kind of what happens if you're a professional. And I fortunately am a professional. And I did work at Goldman. I did have 24% after all fees for 14 years. I did with Karen Cramer, was in cash for the crash. And I'm just saying that, I'm not saying bring it on because that's like President George W. But I'm saying, listen, I've seen it. And, look, we're going to get through it. But remember, oil was at 80. We're planning it's going to 100. Now it's 66. We're planning it's going to go to 50. Fed funds rate, we think it's going to go to 3.25. But then Powell is not he's not a knave. I mean, he'll realize what's happening. So I am sanguine about my ability to be able to say there are opportunities. I never want anyone to lose money, but I did want a down opening, and we got it.
All right, guys, I really want to talk to you about Facebook, but we're going to save that for the Action Alerts Plus video after this.
Thank you for letting me ramble on, Catherine, but it's fun. I mean, I know it's not supposed to be fun, but and when people lose money, I wouldn't be talking like this if it was a down day, but I'm a student of it, and I've been getting pretty good grades. I take a long-term view.
All right, guys, thank you for watching, and Jim, thanks for all of your insight.
Absolutely, thank you.
Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.